One of the biggest problems with the DC universe for the past decade has been the fact that there's a lot of confusion. There's different people. When they get in charge, they want something. Then 6 months later, somebody else gets put in charge. They change everything. And people were hoping that with James Gunn now in charge of the DC universe, that would change, that he would streamline things, that he would have an actual vision and execute it, and everyone would be on the same page. Unfortunately, over the past year, it's been nothing but chaos ever since it was announced that James Gunn was taking over. And then, of course, Henry Cavill got fired. James Gunn said, "Oh, I don't not like Henry Cavill," then immediately proceeded to let him know he's gone. He also said some things about Ben Affleck. "Oh, we've been talking to Ben Affleck about potentially directing a movie for us." And then Ben Affleck says, "No, I have no idea what that's about. And I'm certainly not going to direct a DC movie with James Gunn." And now the third part of the Trinity, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. And we have seen over the last couple days the chaos that has exploded around yet more miscommunication and misunderstandings when it comes to the future of DC. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman 3 is in the best hands multiple times. In multiple interviews, Gal Gadot went out there and said, "Hey, I've talked to James Gunn. I know that, Patty Jenkins is no longer working with this thing, that it looks like there's a lot of recast coming, but I talked to James and Peter, and they explained to me," she even gave quotes what they said, "You're in good hands. We want to make Wonder Woman 3. We love you as Wonder Woman. We can't wait to work with you going forward." That apparently is not the case. It looks like the situation around Wonder Woman 3 is getting even weirder. As reports come out, the same day those interviews drop, later in the day, we get this news: Wonder Woman 3 won't fly in the new DC universe, despite Gal Gadot teasing development plans. There's a lot of people out there that wish, if you could reverse things a decade, they really wish they would just, hey, let the Zack Snyder stuff go and see where it goes, without studio interference, without people coming in and reshooting things, without people rehammering Justice League or Suicide Squad. See what would have happened, because at that point in time, it'd probably be better than what we're getting now. There's also people that just want to cut everything off and reboot everything. And to be honest, if James Gunn was going to do that, that's likely what he should have done. But it seems like they're very much pick this, pick that. Who's going to carry over? Who's not going to carry over? But at some point in time, we have to address James Gunn misleading so many people about seemingly everything. We talked about what happened with Superman and him saying, "We didn't fire him. We just didn't cast him and keep him on." Well, when the regime that's before you says, "Hey, you're going to continue as Superman. We have a lot of plans for you," and you make that announcement to the world, only for 2 months later be forced to say, "Hey, James wants to go a different direction." You might want to phrase it a different way. For all intents and purposes, that is fired, especially when you got in a big fight on Twitter with Den of Nerds, with Josh from Den of Nerds, who said that he'd heard James Gunn didn't like Henry Cavill. James Gunn clapped back. He slammed him, said, "Where have you heard that? That's bullshit, blah, 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 all these lies." Well, it turns out he didn't want Henry Cavill around there, did he? Like I said, when it comes to everything surrounding the Ben Affleck situation, James Gunn said, "I would never lie." But it seems like there's some miscommunication between what he said and what Ben Affleck said. And now we have that yet again for Wonder Woman. David Ayer is likely to be the next person on that list. Suicide Squad director David Ayer says James Gunn told him the Ayer cut would have its time to be shared. Well, I know a lot of people would like to see the original vision that David Ayer had. His vision was chopped to pieces and hammered into something else, much like the original Justice League was. But does anyone have any faith that James Gunn wasn't lying to him? That James Gunn wasn't misleading him or just telling him what he wanted to hear, and then other things are actually going to happen? I think it's safe to say. Now, who lied here? Did Gal Gadot lie? She could have. She could have, in order to maybe create more public pressure on DC to keep her around as Wonder Woman if people saw the excitement for it. Maybe she lied. But we've also seen in a lot of different ways, James Gunn has completely misled so many people over the past nearly year of him being in charge of the DC universe. I don't know what this is going to shape out to be going forward, but I do know people expected there to be less chaos and miscommunication and confusion at DC, but it looks like old DC is just the same as the new.